They didn't have to say it. Maya Turner could feel it the moment she stepped into that courtroom, eyes scanning her, not for truth, but for confirmation. Confirmation of everything they already believed about her. Black, 30, ambitious, accused. And now, standing trial for a corporate crime she didn't commit. She sat down quietly at the defendant's table. Her lawyer, Elise Grant, tapped a pen against her notepad with nervous focus. Elise was sharp, known for fighting systemic bias in corporate courts. But Maya could tell, even she felt the weight of this room. Across the aisle, the prosecution was smug. They had bank logs, log-in timestamps, emails with Maya's credentials, and a narrative that fit too well, an employee with access, motive, and no witnesses. The judge, Ronald Kessler, an aging man with a history of leaning hard on order, barely looked at Maya. When he spoke her name, it was cold and quick, like an inconvenience. "The court will hear opening statements." Elise stood. "My client is not on trial because the evidence is strong. She's on trial because the story is easy, and we're going to show you just how wrong it is." Then the prosecution began, painting Maya as a calculated manipulator who created ghost accounts, rerouted funds, and tried to cover her tracks. They spoke confidently, knowing the court already saw Maya through a narrow lens. But Maya didn't flinch. She knew who she was. She just had to prove it in a room that had already decided she wasn't. At the heart of the accusation, $185,000 stolen from quarterly bonuses. It had been rerouted to employee accounts that didn't exist, all of it linked to her system ID, accessed late at night. But there was a problem no one wanted to notice. Maya didn't work late nights. Her badge log showed she hadn't been in the building during several of the key transfers. Yet here she was, trying to explain that the system was wrong. Or worse, someone had made it that way. Elise whispered, "We'll rip this wide open. We just need one crack." At lunch recess, Maya sat alone at a corner bench outside the courthouse. Her phone buzzed. One text from an unknown number. "They're trying to bury you, but they didn't clean everything. Check the server logs from March 18th, 2:37 a.m. I never logged out." Maya stared at the screen. It could have been nothing, or it could have been everything. Elise didn't even eat lunch. The moment Maya showed her the message, she was on her laptop, fingers flying across the keys like fire. "March 18th, 2:37 a.m. Okay, that's during one of the transfers. And someone claims they were still logged in at that time?" Maya nodded. "I don't know who sent it. No name, no number saved. Just that message." "It means someone saw what happened, or maybe even knows who did it." Elise's eyes lit up. "Or maybe it's the person who was supposed to be blamed until someone decided you'd make a better fall guy." Back in court that afternoon, Elise took a risk. "Your Honor," she said, standing confidently, "the defense requests a subpoena for the internal server access logs from March 17th to March 19th. We believe there is new evidence that will prove Ms. Turner's system was accessed remotely and possibly cloned." The prosecutor scoffed. "This is a last-minute fishing expedition. She's had weeks to raise this." Judge Kessler adjusted his glasses, annoyed. "Is this connected to your earlier mention of system manipulation?" "Yes, Your Honor. We believe a third party used Maya Turner's credentials while another employee was still logged in, a technical impossibility without direct database tampering." There was a pause. The courtroom murmured quietly. Then the judge spoke. "I'll allow it, but you have 24 hours. No more surprises after that." Elise nodded. "That's all we need." That night, Elise called in a favor from a tech consultant she trusted, Devin Ross, former cybersecurity auditor turned freelance expert. "Can you analyze internal logs if I get them?" "If they give them to you unedited, yeah." "What am I looking for?" "Multiple logins under one user ID. Same timestamp, different device IDs." Devin whistled. That's smoking gun territory. Exactly. The next morning, Elise received a flash drive from the court's IT liaison. Server logs, raw, unfiltered, and buried deep inside the thousands of lines of code, Devin found it. 2 logins, same credentials, same second, different machines. One matched Maya's usual laptop, assigned by the company. The other was unknown, unnamed, and manually cleared from the registry a few hours later. Someone cloned her system profile, Devin said. Logged in remotely, did the dirty work, then wiped the machine ID. But they missed one line of metadata. Elise stared at it. This is the crack, she said softly. This is how we break them. Court resumed at 9 a.m., sharp. Maya walked in with her head high, but her stomach in knots. She knew today could either expose the truth or bury it even deeper. Elise stepped to the center of the courtroom with a flash drive in hand. Your Honor, she began, her voice calm but razor-sharp, the defense has obtained verifiable forensic evidence that Ms. Turner's system credentials were used by 2 machines at the exact same time, an impossibility unless the profile was cloned or stolen. Judge Kessler frowned. You're sure about this? We have expert analysis to support it. The prosecutor objected, of course, but Elise was ready. She called her expert witness, Devin Ross. Devin took the stand in a button-up shirt, sleeves rolled, confidence in every word. I reviewed server logs from the defendant's company, he began, and I found simultaneous logins under her name, same timestamp, different machine IDs. Can this happen by mistake? Elise asked. Number. It's technically impossible unless someone intentionally cloned the user environment or accessed it through admin override. So someone impersonated her. Exactly. And whoever it was tried to cover their tracks, but they left digital residue behind. He clicked a slide on the projector, a side-by-side display of metadata. Maya's official device on the left, unknown terminal on the right. Same time, same credentials, different machines. The jury was leaning forward now. Even the clerk had stopped typing, staring at the screen. But Judge Kessler wasn't convinced. This still doesn't prove who did it. Elise didn't flinch. It doesn't, she agreed. But this next piece might. She loaded another slide. An internal company email time-stamped 2 hours after the fraudulent transaction. It read, It's done. The access point is scrubbed. If she talks, we push the rogue employee angle. Sent from the internal email account of Robert Willis, the company's vice president of finance. The courtroom exploded. People gasped. One juror dropped his pen. The prosecutor stammered. This isn't admissible. We weren't given... Elise cut in. This was part of a legally obtained data set provided by the subpoena your office approved. You just didn't bother to read it. Willis, sitting at the back of the room as a company representative, stood up and walked out. Nobody stopped him. The damage was done. Judge Kessler looked stunned. For the first time in the trial, Maya saw hesitation on his face. Elise turned to the jury. They wanted someone to blame, someone quiet, someone easy, someone black, but they didn't count on her fighting back. She sat down without another word. And the courtroom stayed quiet for a long, long time. Deliberation took just under 3 hours. That was fast. Maya sat still in her seat, hands clenched, eyes locked on a single crack in the table's wood grain. Elise sat beside her, quietly breathing. Calm on the outside, calculating 1,000 possibilities on the inside. The jury returned. No eye contact, no small talk, just solemn faces. The foreman stood. In the matter of Maya Turner versus the state of Illinois, on the count of corporate fraud, we find the defendant not guilty. Maya didn't react at first. It was too heavy, too much. Then Elise leaned over and whispered, "It's over." And just like that, Maya broke. Not with a scream, not with a dramatic gasp, just tears that wouldn't stop. Silent, relentless. Tears she'd held in since the day they put her name in a headline. The press wanted interviews. She declined everyone. The company tried to reach out with a settlement conversation. She told them to speak to her attorney. But one invitation she did accept. A nonprofit group fighting for racial justice in corporate law wanted her to speak. Not as a victim, but as a voice. "I'm not a hero," she said at their annual gala weeks later. "I'm just someone they didn't expect to push back." She paused, scanning the crowd. "They wanted a name they could erase, but they gave me a story that people will remember." A few months later, Maya returned to court, not as a defendant, but as a witness in a new case. Another black employee, same company, same story. This time, Maya brought evidence with her. This time, the company didn't even let it go to trial. They settled quietly. 1 year later, Maya stood in front of a college class, guest lecturing on ethics, accountability, and identity in the digital age. A student raised her hand and asked, "How did you know you'd win?" Maya smiled. "I didn't. I just knew I couldn't stay silent."